Wondering what would happen if I talk for 3 minutes before I go to Orange Theory Fitness for my day 3 of Hell Week. So this morning, been thinking about that cell again. So the cell is a part, a human is a whole, but we are made of these cells. So it's really curious to think about the cell. So if you think about one cell, intact container, it has a center and then it's fluid. So this thing is like, and everything pulls towards the center. Here's a very interesting thing about the cell. And remember, this is just a social worker that wonders about things, making connections. So the membrane, so the cell's membrane, super highly intelligent, only lets in what it needs and then releases. So it's a continuous in and out. And if you think about, like in yoga, they call it ujjayi breath, or just your natural breath, when you're breathing in through your nose, but the sensation is that the air is going in through the front of your mouth and out like into the back of your mouth like this. So if you're breathing in and out and you're doing it in a rhythm. So it's breathing in for like a count of 2 and out for a count of 2. So balance, right? So in and out. And if you think of like active life and consuming, right? So what, bringing in, taking out, in and out, or maybe even like in how we relate to one another, like this natural kind of reciprocity, this give and take. So the other thing is just these really quick inner senses. These inner senses make so much sense to me. So you've got your physical senses, but the inner senses, so proprioceptive senses. So these were the sense, if you just think of like a one-celled amoeba. So a one-celled amoeba, it had to know itself. It had to have a sense of itself. So it had to have a sense of itself as compared to something else. So that, I think, would be the interoceptive sense. And in real-time day, that's like, am I taking on, are these my feelings I'm feeling, or are these the feelings of others around me? So when I think of interoceptive sense, I think of mine or yours. And then this cell had to know where it was in space and time, and that probably connects to like to know itself. So where am I in space and time? And the proprioceptive sense is when you close your eyes, you have a sense of your top and your bottom. You can probably have a sense of your core, like a stabilizing center. So proprioceptive sense, where am I in space and time? I think I'm going to spell it wrong. But in school, this is like situational awareness for kids. Like, where am I? Am I at recess or am I at math? And so if I'm at math, what's my job? Is my job to be running and tagging and playing? Or is my job to be a whole body listener in math and to ask questions? So, and then there is vestibular, and that is, to me, that's a sense of too much, not enough, just right, enough. And that blends into this in and out and in and out. So a sense of balance. We have a natural way of maintaining this homeostasis, this equilibrium. Nature does it, our cells do it. Remember, I'm a social worker, I'm just interpreting. And the reason I'm interpreting this and why I just think it's something to be curious about, I think we make day too hard. And I think that if we can take the fundamentals and simplicities of a cell and apply them to our own experience, we can only regulate ourselves. So may find ways to do it, which could be adaptive or they could be maladaptive. Other words like used in school that kids understand, the ways that we might find to regulate and soothe could be constructive or they could be destructive. So we're pulled towards expansion. We're pulled towards the better way, which is another word that I really thought I was going to talk about today, which was I thought it's a simple word, recombine, connected to when you think of like a diversity of thoughts, diversity of opinion. But as we, like the mention of that gintelligence, like these active 5 generations hanging out together at the same time. But you think of conversations and you think of, oh, I like your idea. I like the way you think about that. And just continually like taking from our experiences and recombining and moving forward and continually being curious about how we can think differently. Why? For different outcomes, for a better experience. So being satisfied with what is, but then this continuous pull towards the something more, towards expansion, towards a different way of thinking, to continually feel satisfied in our own experience of day, feel relevant, feel like a contributor, or just feel like we're enjoying ourselves. Without needing to like always have to be protecting what we think we're enjoying, like our acquisitions. And then, so 2 things at the same time, right? Enjoying what is, but then having this desire for something more.